Hi, Lisa. It's Michelle Evans.
Hey, Liz.
Hey, anyone else on here?
I'm seeing Amanda and I think Michelle Evans, only so we're in the YouTube, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, we should be streaming to YouTube.
Okay.
okay. I just gotta get something real quick. Hey, Michelle.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question because I'm getting a lot of emails from people that want to testify and they want to know when the committees are meeting. Do we have a little bit more specific information on the schedule of when they're meeting
Sure.
and like where we can tell them, hey, they're going to meet this day at this time?
The full schedule has been posted on the convention website, so convention.texasgop.org. They can click on the schedule dropdown and download the full schedule, which has meetings from Monday through Wednesday, plus the meeting rooms and even the breakout rooms that will happen for platform. Um, you guys as a committee, platform committee, need to determine if subcommittees will be taking testimony. If yes, then when. All of that is kind of up to y'all.
Okay, so that's not set basically.
The testimony stuff is not set by us. We provide you some logistical support, obviously with the Zoom and everything. Um, and
Okay,
we'll help you with interpreting the rules. But as far as like the business of the committee and how you conduct it, that's going to be up to y'all.
got it. Um, would it be safe to say that on Monday, I mean, since we are meeting on Monday, it's probably going to be better for testimony on Tuesday? Because
That Yeah, that's not
right?
something that I can determine for you. So you're gonna have to speak to your if the chairman's broken you up into subcommittees and you as a full committee, you've adopted rules that say that the subcommittees can take testimony, then um your subcommittee
Yeah.
chair will set that.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, the way that
All
it
right.
happened in 2024, when I served on platform, is we did accept testimony. I think we accepted testimony Monday and Tuesday during specific times. Um, and then on Wednesday, we met as the committee of the whole
Yeah.
met, and
Okay.
we took public testimony in the committee of the whole as well.
Okay. All right.
Clear as mud.
Amanda, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay.
Um, I'm
Are
just
we
sending.
waiting for
You were waiting for
um
Patty.
Patty? Okay.
Patty's in the wrong Zoom, Liz. I'm trying to get her in the right Zoom.
Can you forward it to her?
Yeah, I'm trying to forward it to her right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's not. I don't have Patty's phone number.
Do you need her number?
You have her phone number?
Yeah. 847
Hang on, saying
73
847.
732
Uh-huh.
8250.
Hey, just be conscious of the fact that you're live streaming on YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry, I just thought about that. I was like, oh my God, I think we're live already.
that's okay.
Okay.
This is just an organizational, so we're getting organized.
That they want to step into their charity, they might as well step it up. And they want to give away more. You're here representing the parents, and we've always been committed to.
Someone has to put it on mute.
I can do that. Nope. Looks like they took care of it.
You're here representing the parents, and we've always been committed to.
Someone has to put it on mute.
Oh,
I can do that.
looks like you got everybody.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I was using the link from before. Maybe there's another one sent out.
Okay. I guess we'll start off with, I know the schedule came out already, so we meet on Monday at 11. And then we'll break off into. The link from before. Oh, okay. Okay. So anyway, we got the schedule. We're supposed to be there at 11 on Monday, and then we'll break out into our subcommittees, and then we'll make up our schedule then, and then we'll know when we can have people, we'll do our rules, and we'll know when people are going to testify or not. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't know, make up our schedule then. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. I heard,
Can y'all hear?
like, I don't know where I heard an echo, but I heard an echo, but yeah. I
Yeah,
can-
it sounds like somebody's watching the YouTube live stream. And that will make it echo.
Okay, so anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is when we start going through the resolutions. I know we the last meeting we talked about organizing and stuff. When we start going through the resolutions, we're gonna notice probably that there's gonna be quite a few that can be duplicates, and also some that are probably have made it into law already, but we seem to have the resolutions again. And some people, when they see that, they kind of just like dismiss the resolution. My thought is possibly it's there because maybe it didn't go far enough. So my thinking is if it's one of our top legislative priorities, my feeling is we strengthen it and then send it back. And I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on that.
I'm happy to kind of explore exactly what it looks like once we have like the official temporary meetings, because that's at least my understanding is like there's like a line between organizational and what we do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to me, that sounds very reasonable. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm happy to explore that then.
Yeah. Patty, how do you feel about that?
I agree. I think that's a good idea. Just
Yeah.
because, especially if these are things that candidates have to agree on, to be acknowledged as a Republican, and these are things we stand for, then I think it's important to have in the platform because, and it also, kind of tells the legislature that don't try to take away this because this is important to us. So I think
Right.
that's important.
And I almost feel like it's back in a resolution because maybe even though it's in a bill, it didn't go far enough,
Mhm.
or they need more done with it. So I think that there's several ways that we could probably look at it and strengthen it, and
Mhm.
then send it back.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to mention that because I've heard from several people about, what do we do if it's something that it's already, it's turned into law already. And I'm of the mind that again, let's not toss it. Let's look at it and then strengthen it.
I agree. I think we
Yeah,
can do it. I think it can be done in a very concise way. We don't have to, have novels
yeah,
size resolutions or planks really tight. Yeah.
yeah. I think Patty, sometimes it's even just the the wording that we're using, like even just one or two words that we use that will make a difference in the actual resolution.
Hmm.
And we
Yeah.
don't have to have a book about it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, what else? Do you have anything, Amanda? I know that you did a little bit of work kind of on your own.
Yes. So I sent y'all the spreadsheet with the analysis of the education planks,
Hmm.
including like potential harmonization efforts. I didn't
Hmm.
remove anything as far as I'm aware from like what people proposed. And I had columns that retained like the exact wording that we received from org director Evans in the consolidated file. So like I retained the verbatim language, but the additional analysis then sees either when there are like nearly identical resolutions, but maybe there's like a colon in one and a colon omitted from the other, or just like a slightly
Hmm.
different title, but it's the same exact concept. That's what the
Hmm.
harmonization does. And I've also been categorizing them into the subcategories. Right now, there's 4 subcategories if we look at the 2024 platform. I'm open to adjusting those subcategories if we determine that's like suitable, but I'm fine keeping those. But in either case, I categorized into those subcategories. I also kind of similar to what Rick did, tied them to what plank exists on the 2024 platform. And then I said, is it add, uh, amend, or expand? So add would be a new plank, amend would be changing a plank, and expand would be growing a plank. I think there's
Hmm.
some duplication between those two sections, but generally that's like the difference. And
Hmm.
then so far, right now, I have 228 unique resolutions, which is pretty good. That's from the 349. So I've already found some ways to harmonize and simplify.
And are you
Wow.
talking about that these are new ones?
No, 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 no. For the ads right now, I have 181, but as I
Okay.
review those line by line, I think we'll see more that are like amend slash expand.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and then we have the balance of that. So 168 amend and expands. And I think as I kind of, and we can all do it, but as we keep going through them, we'll probably find some more
Yeah.
harmonization. Like there were already some that were like almost identical, but there was like a very tiny nuance between them. So for now, it's just like, let me at least go for the low hanging fruit,
Right.
harmonize
Yeah.
those, and then like the ones that maybe have a little bit more nuance. look at those later.
Okay.
But I figure that this could be a good way for us to wrap our heads,
Yeah.
okay, like how many we
Yeah.
got, how many unique submissions, so on and so forth.
Yeah. I think that will help us once we get to doing our work for sure.
It kind of reminds me of what we did at our SD9 convention, except we had everything as printouts. So they were just bundling them as big package. So you virtually bundled these things or gotten them
Yeah.
together, organizing them.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I made it so there's like visibility to what was initially submitted. So even as I harmonize, it's not like you lose visibility to, I don't know, like what, um, let's see, like what SD uh 18 Calhoun County submitted. Like you can still see that level of granularity that we originally had.
Yeah, I'm glad that you did that because I know that in the past, the education subcommittee, believe it or not, it's the subcommittee that always has the most floor amendments. So
Oh, boy.
I think, yeah,
Ah!
yeah, yes, for some reason, but it is, and so I think that one, we just and people are very passionate about their resolution and and the wording being exactly how they worded it, right? So we have to be very careful when it comes to that, um, and and again we have to be as transparent as possible to try to avoid chaos
Exactly.
when we go to the floor. So so that's my idea, is just transparency. I'm glad that you said that we are able to see the original resolution so we can try to stick to the wording as much as possible.
I guess some additional notes, some more to share, additional things that I want to do to enhance it. Um, there's 53 planks where I still need to like put in the relevant plank. I should be able to finish that by tonight. It's not, yeah, it's just a little bit of, research. And then
Okay.
I'll summarize what the unique ones are. Like I can look at the pivot table and I can tell how many unique items there are just by like summing the column, but I'll put it into a separate pivot table so that's super clear. Um, but yeah, like so far it looks pretty interesting. The other thing I want to do is pull in the original language from the
Yeah.
existing plank, because sometimes it's helpful to see side by side what does what does plank 91 say right now, and even though we can look at the RPT platform file, it might just be easier to sometimes have that in the spreadsheet.
Oh yeah. 100%. And then we all know that we are working, there was an original sheet that was sent out, and then I think we're scrapping that, and we're working with the second sheet that Rick had sent out, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page on that.
Oh, one more note. I just thought of it again. The thing that this does not capture, but it will once we know what they are additional education related planks that are submitted after the SD and county conventions, because people can still submit resolutions independently. At least that's how it worked at my SD. Like even if something didn't pass the precinct convention, they could submit additional resolutions to be considered by the committee for the SD convention. So we might get additional resolutions.
Do you know when the deadline for that is? I need to go back and read Tim's document again,
I
but
need to read his document.
yeah,
The deadline
there
for
is
the
a
SD,
deadline.
for the SD convention, it was like 30 minutes after the SD
Mhm.
convention started. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's similar. And like you, I need to go back and read what Tim said.
Yeah. Yeah, I will when I get off. I had a question about uh, uh, so when there are very similar resolutions filed in totally different categories, so that like for instance, there are things about education in school finance, like there's something about superintendents, um, limiting them or whatever, and that's in the finance section. That's not even in our committee.
Yeah.
And then there's something about school board elections, making them municipal or to make them, partisan. But then there's another resolution in under elections that says school board and municipal elections to be partisan. So they're the same thing, but one goes farther and it's in a different category. So how do you guys, do we just ignore what's going on over in those subcommittees and then we all just, it all happens, we merge?
So I'm going to go by what we did in our SD convention. And so we kind of set up rules before we even started that if we had a resolution that was not in our subcommittee, there
Mhm.
was a way we can transfer it to the other subcommittee. And I'm imagining they're going to set those rules on Monday morning,
Okay.
so yeah, they'll set the rules Monday morning. If we need to switch one resolution to another subcommittee, they'll let us know how we're going to be doing that.
Okay. I mean,
That-
I don't know where these things, I would think things would be organized by the 2024, how the planks,
Yeah.
flowed, and that makes sense. So education has just got this section, but I don't know. I mean, are we supposed to be doing
Yeah.
the education finance stuff? I don't know. Or is that in finance and taxation? It gets confusing.
So, yeah, if we come across something like that, then as a team, we vote whether we want to move it over to finance or we want to keep it in education.
Okay. Okay.
And there will be some kind of guidelines on how we transfer that resolution to another subcommittee. They'll set those rules on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to know. Thank you, Madam Chair Ramos, that like we can determine whether or not we keep it or transfer it. I guess
Yeah.
my general intuition is that if there's something like school boards being partisan and then someone else submitted for elections, all races are partisan. I would just, if there's the school board one and it's in education, my inclination would be to vote for it within education. And
Yeah.
I'd be okay if there's kind of duplicative lanes in different subcommittees, because then we can reconcile that when we come together as a
Yeah.
product.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it's kind of interesting because if we passed it and it passed over there, it would be more of a, that's what, I don't know.
Yeah, and we also have to consider, like, depending on what the verbiage is and how important it is, are we going to move it to, I mean, I'm just going to say it, are we going to move it to a subcommittee where it's going to go there and die? Or,
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or is it better to just keep it here and try to just strengthen it? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe to your point, like perhaps a broader resolution won't get buy-in from from the delegation, but maybe a more narrow, specific resolution will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about, and we when we did our SD convention, I kept in mind what I've heard so many times that, and even when we're get our report, we send it all this to the next legislative session, you really want to be short, sweet, to the point. If you do like these really long resolutions, it gets up in the wrong committee. I mean, it can go up to the House and just die. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think we just need to be very careful on the work that we do so that we can just bring it to their attention. Like it's right there, it's in your face, right?
Mhm. One of the things, so I know we're harmonizing the greater things, but as we were mentioning, some of these resolutions are very, just to your point, they're very long, long-winded, and they're very detailed. So we have to wait until the convention to actually start breaking those apart
Yes.
so that
Yeah, we
their
can't do-
their topics is specific. Okay.
Yeah, we can't do any of that work right now. I mean, we can
Yeah.
organize, but as far as that kind of work, because we, as a team, we have to vote, first of all, vote on whether it's staying or leaving. And then if it's staying and we're going to be doing any kind of changes, we all have to be in, agreeing on everything. So.
Okay.
And one thing I can recall from our SD convention, when we had those lengthy resolutions that had a lot of pieces and parts, we did take, a step back to see if we could bullet out the detail. Because if it gets to a legislature, or to a vote, you may like bullets 1 through 5, but you may not like bullet 6. So you
Yeah.
have some flexibility when they actually get down to working with whatever this committee might put forward, as a proposal. So,
And yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, Lisa, because when it comes to editing and how it's
Right.
going to come across, it's just so important because it can be a matter of whether they're going to take it up or not, whether it's too long, again, whether they like bullet point 1 or 2, but they don't like 3 or 4, and we
Mhm.
really, yeah. So
yeah,
that
it was
that's good.
helpful
Yeah.
to think in terms, because some of them are pretty long, just
Yes. Yes,
to
absolutely.
Patty's point, they can get lengthy.
Yeah. Amanda, I'm not sure. I know that when you did the synchronization, did you send it to Lisa as well?
Not yet. I'm hoping we can get some clarity on the committee roles and responsibilities, and that we can
Uh-huh.
do that as between the three of us.
Okay. Okay, so she will be our editor, and she's already been approved by Rick Townsend. And she will be, actually, she's doing editor and secretary, both, because I know they were having problems finding editors, and I asked, since we could she serve the both roles, and I was told yes. So
I appreciate that, and I consulted some rules SMEs in my SD, and my understanding is that that type of decision works a little bit differently. So I'm happy to either have us determine that when we set the rules on Monday, or a different way, though just as I'm understanding how the committee works, I believe it works a little bit different.
No,
and
I mean,
what
it won't hurt my feelings at all, Amanda. So we should resolve it as part of our organization.
Yeah, I mean, before we get up there on Monday, I'm not sure what is going on, but I
mean, I
I
am a
went through
precinct
Rick-
chair, and so I'm familiar with process, and I did attend my SD convention. So, and partnering with Liz on the committee as far as being your secretary for this committee or making edits to the working document or the master that we submit, having an
Yeah.
understanding of what it is you guys are doing as far as harmonization or categorizing, et cetera, would only help me in my role as trying to put forth what you as a committee want to submit or do.
Yeah, so I appreciate that you're a precinct chair. I appreciate that. I believe you said you're a delegate. My understanding is that we each have one person from each SD that's on the committee, and I believe that any type of assistant type role, there are just some guardrails per the RPT rules. So I want to make sure we're kind of aware of
Can you
that.
cite the specific rules so that we can get some guidance from Michelle, maybe?
Yeah, Michelle, do you know? I wasn't
Yeah.
I was told, I mean, Rick has approved it already. I wasn't told that. I
am driving in a storm, so what's the question?
Amanda, can you be a little bit more specific?
Yeah, sure. So one of the rules would be Rule 33B, but also just the chair of a committee may appoint assistants. However, the assistant may not address the formal committee without permission of the committee itself. Informal communication would be allowed, but they have no power to make decisions without the permission of the committee. The chair of the
Yeah.
committee cannot delegate their authority without a rule allowing such delegation to a non-member. Additionally, non-voting assistants would be permissible provided that they operate within the boundaries set by the committee, in this case, the subcommittee, and any applicable rules. But I just would like us to kind of align on that.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely. I mean,
and-
the editor and secretary, they don't, first of all, they don't have any voting power on what we're doing as the three of us are doing as a committee. That is like clear,
Agree.
100%.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just, I
Yeah.
guess I'm a little bit unclear on like why those responsibilities cannot be like shared between the three of us.
So it was actually recommended to me that we have an editor and a secretary, especially because we lost one of our members. There's only 3 people in our committee, and I was told, that that we should have an editor, actually. So I think all of the other subcommittees have either editors or secretaries or both. So it is one of the things that it's normal for it to happen. So I think you're trying to say that should be our duty, but it is recommended that an editor is in a subcommittee. And I
So
prefer
if you're-
that. I prefer that.
I can give you some more insight offline. Since I'm not a member of the committee, I shouldn't be chiming in during your meeting, but
Okay.
if somebody wants to send me a specific question via email, I'm happy to respond.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, we'll follow up on all this, and we will definitely get this taken care of before we show up on Monday for sure. All right. So, let's see what else. What else do we have? Yeah. So just again, I want to go back to what I said a little while ago about the education having probably the most floor amendments, and I think that when we do our work, it is going to be really important that we try to be as transparent as possible, try to probably not stray away from kind of the original resolution. There's people are very passionate about their resolution, so let's try to keep it to their words. I know I've heard a lot of other people that in other SDs that they were very unhappy because their resolution was twisted and turned, and it didn't even have the same meaning as it did when they first presented it. So again, I think that's crucial that we kind of try to stick to the main essence of what the resolution is about.
So I had a question, Chairwoman. So how will how will we organize and start the process? So for instance, when we start our meeting on Tuesday, right? I think it's Tuesday or Monday, whatever it is.
It's Monday. It's Monday. Yeah.
Okay. So when we start, will we, so for instance, we would introduce and we'd say, we're going to be talking about these 5 resolutions right now, and because we'll have the ones that are bundled together. Will we go through alphabetically, to go one by one, or will we say we have we move to to consider these 3 at once because they're so similar? How does it go? How will it go down?
So hopefully we've done enough work to kind of organize everything, right? To see where we think some of the duplicates are, and to make it easier, that's probably where we need to start first,
I'd
right?
start with the big ones. That's the most
Yeah.
important ones. Okay.
Yeah. And then we decide as a group between the 3 of us which which ones are duplicates and which ones would we keep and what we don't keep. And before we do any further work, it's just going to make it easier to narrow down the duplicates first, right?
But when
Yeah.
people come up and they're all excited about to hear their resolution being debated and talk on it. So we'll say, your resolution. I mean, in SD, we didn't even people. I guess they came and spoke kind of the last day, but I don't even remember. Some of the ones that got merged, people didn't. We didn't say, oh, yours got merged. It was just
no. So when they come in, so we have to first of all decide that's why it was a little bit more important for me to have a little bit more information on this schedule, because right now we don't really have a schedule. So we know we have to show up there at 11, and then we're going to be kind of spread out and sent to the rooms, and then we have to come up with our schedule, right? So whatever time we're going to have people go and testify, that's what we talked about in our last meeting, that what we did in SD7 was if we could have like a laptop or something and bring up their original resolution.
Yep.
And if there's going to be any changes or anything to the language, they're present. They can actually see the changes that we're doing so that they know that we're not trying to, be transparent about the work that we're doing.
Okay.
We can just pull it up on a laptop.
And
we'll have the original resolution there.
And we'll be amending these in real time, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and we can go in order, we can go in order. Yeah. But
Okay.
I feel like the first work that we should do is trying to see which ones are the duplicates.
Yes, yeah. So we're considering maybe 1 through 4, 1 through 10, or whatever. All deal with whatever. Okay.
Yeah. And then, and again, when they go and testify, we'll have a laptop, we'll pull it up, we'll look at exactly what they're talking about, and then we'll do the changes in front of them, whatever changes need to be done or whatever in front of them so they could see the work. This will avoid all these amendments in the floor later on, because they know that they literally saw the work with their own eyes. Okay.
Right.
And it worked actually in SD7, it worked so good that when it was time for me to go and present the report and the resolutions, we had so many people testify, and they knew that the work was very well, that the first person went up there and said, hey, I make a motion just to pass the resolutions as they are. Like, we didn't even have to, nothing. It was wonderful.
Wow. Okay. So in SD9, we did all of our work, and people could have come, but not very many people came for literally 6 days, 6 nights leading up to, and then by the time we got to the convention, there was only a few things left to do. So then when people saw it, it was their first time seeing it. And there was we tried to speed it up, but no, they, we're trying to make all kinds of amendments. So that was very interesting, different.
Yeah, we also, we heard testimony for a week as well. And even on the day of convention, we heard a lot of testimony that day. So all the people that really are the ones that are really picky about everything, we had already heard all of them. They had already seen the changes with their own eyes. So when we got to the floor, no one had any issues, no one had any problems, and we passed a motion, and we just passed everything as it was.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's very important that we have all the transparency throughout the whole, first 3 days that we hear testimony and things like that, because it will avoid a lot of headache later on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, until we get to the all convention or whatever, then.
At SD15, our very first meeting, most of it was organizational. Though we did pass, I want to say 3 resolutions, like some low-hanging fruit resolutions to get warmed up. Our second meeting was a significant portion of it was public testimony, because that one was in person, and then our other 3 were virtual. Though we did pass, I believe, at least one more in the second one. Our third meeting, we had some visitors, we let them speak. Whenever we had visitors, we'd always let them speak before we got into decisions on resolutions. And then we passed significantly more resolutions. And then on our fourth meeting as a temporary committee, we had visitors, though the majority of that was passing resolutions. And by that point, we had had access to the resolutions. Each committee member was able to review them. So then we passed them primarily in groups, like we do it based off of the section. And then we'd review what they were, and then we'd determine whether or not we wanted to pass them in whole, or if we wanted to go resolution by resolution. And then at the permanent committee meeting, we had a ton of visitors. We let them speak. And then we passed a few more resolutions. And we had one that did not pass. And then our delegation voted to pass the resolutions as a whole. We made one amendment, we removed one, and then we passed everything as a whole. I heard the Legislative Priorities Committee speak on Memorial Day, and they were saying that they're going to have it as like almost an open visitor session instead of like adding guardrails around the topic. I know it's different for us because we're a subcommittee, though. If we're able to be flexible, I'd be open to that, just because I know different people are traveling from across a variety of places in Texas, and I'd be willing to like figure out how we structure when we approve, so that way we're able to hear testimony. But they're also
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to hear testimony for sure, 100%. I'm almost getting to a point where, because we have to set up all the rules on Monday, and we have to set up, we have to meet, set up all the rules and everything. And by the time that we get to post when the testimony is, I'm wondering if Monday is almost going to be a dead day for testimony. I don't know. I'm hoping we can get something through in the afternoon, maybe. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to probably lean towards most of our testimony is going to be on Tuesday, most of the day on Tuesday, and then Wednesday.
I follow your thought process. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we still have to set the whole schedule basically on Monday when we meet. And then remember the first meeting we talked about, there's going to be other people in other subcommittees that want to themselves, committee members that want to come to testify in our committee. So we're going to also have to make room for them, and when they're free and stuff like that. So there's a lot of scheduling that we need to get done on Monday.
Well, I was talking to somebody, Christine Wellborn, and she's in 2 committees. And
Yeah.
And so she said that's how it used to be, that people were in multiple committees, so they would have to stagger the times. But so now that the 3 of us are only in this committee, does that mean that we can spend more time? Like, we're not restricted? Because when you're in 2 different committees, you're set. Because I was telling her, I was like, how can you get it all done in 4 or 5 hours and then go to your next committee?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so I talked to Rolando Garcia, my SREC committee man, and because he's been on platform before.
Uh-huh.
He said when there were 2 committees per person,
Yeah.
like meet with one committee on one day and another committee on another day. So everyone was on 2 committees. So Christine, I guess, is an exception since most of us are in one.
Right.
When he was on it, basically everyone was on two committees, and you had certain committees that met at one time and certain committees that met on another for cross focus. Like if someone wanted to share testimony for a committee that they didn't sit on, I guess they would maybe they'd excuse themselves. I don't know how that would work, but usually if someone was passionate about a topic, they were able to be on it when there were the two committees.
Well, it seems like it
Yeah.
gives us a lot more time to get our work done if we're not dividing it between two committees. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's just what it is.
Yeah, for sure. For someone that's just like ourselves that are just serving in one, we definitely have more time. But there are others that, like you said, are serving in two. So they're going to be limited to when they can come and testify when they
Right.
have a little break or something. So we have to be able to be open to them kind of coming, and we
Right.
have to make time for them as well.
So will people know when their resolution is up, being debated, or they're able to talk on their resolution? Like we'll have a schedule, right, with all the resolutions? No.
We're going to have to make up the schedule
Okay.
ourselves when
Okay.
we meet on Monday. That's why I was saying that when we meet on Monday, it's kind of putting the schedule together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's going to take a while for the whole convention, at least Monday through Wednesday. I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's okay. But Monday through Wednesday, we have to put our whole schedule together.
Okay. And then Thursday, we give a report on
Yeah.
how we did our pre or our SD. And
Yeah.
then if we are elected, then we serve on the permanent, which is all the
Right.
rest of Thursday.
Right.
So I was
Yeah.
talking to somebody who's been on the platform before, and she said it's really important to have friends who are in other committees to feed you information about what's going on. But I don't know if she was talking about rules or other subcommittees. Amanda, do you know this? I mean, I guess I don't know why she said that, because there's things that might affect what we pass. I don't know.
I would picture LP being really important.
Oh, maybe that was it. Okay.
LP and platform are so complementary.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are.
I
No.
could see it as important for us to have a strong relationship with rules, because rules could impact it.
Yeah.
However, and at the same time, I see LP as like the strongest alignment that we'd want between subcommittees. I would think kind of like the example we've discussed with partisan school ISD members
Right. Elections.
versus all partisan races.
Right.
I think that is like sensible to reconcile in the broader group. Like, I don't think that the relationship has to be quite as strong, even if it's like helpful to be in communication.
Yeah. So I know that Rules is also meeting on Monday at 11. So I think that we're going to be right next to each other. I think one is in ballroom A, and I think platform is going to be in ballroom B. And of course, they're separated a little bit, but yeah. So we have to do. We don't know a lot right now, and we probably won't until we get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just bring all your laptops and chargers and cords.
Everything, and all charged up and everything. Yeah.
No, I think LP, you're right. That would be a very one we're going to have to know what's going on, because it affects, right? Because something can't be a priority if it's not a plank, right? Isn't that correct? Doesn't it have to be a plank to be a priority?
So, did you guys do a near SD? Do you have a copy of like your top legislative priorities?
Yeah, and they came directly from the planks.
Oh,
Yeah.
ours were done separately in parallel.
I'm sorry, Amanda.
Ours were done separately.
Ah,
Mhm.
interesting. Okay.
So since I imagine you know who your LP.
I do. Yeah.
I think that's where it's also really good for us to be in communication. So like you to talk to your LP rep, me, mine, Madam Chair Ramos.
Yeah. And again, you know, once you, that's, if you've got your top 10 legislative priorities from, you know, most of the SDs, or they're probably going to be very similar, maybe not in the same order, but probably very similar. That's what we have to keep in mind when we're doing the resolutions, when we are, again, what I talked about earlier, that we see a resolution that may be a bill already, but it's back in there because probably someone is very frustrated that it hadn't gone far enough. And if it's one of these top legislative priorities, we have to strengthen it, you know?
Yeah.
So, so that's very important. If you just have a copy, you know, of your top legislative priorities with you, that's going to help when we're doing
Okay.
our work.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Amanda, I got my SD9 convention chair sent me the PDF of everything that passed. He's
Oh, nice.
like, oh, it's all in this little chart, you know. I'm like, I don't want to pull down. I want something I can print out because I don't think I'm going to be bringing an extra monitor to the convention. I mean, I've got my laptop, but I'm like,
Yeah.
how many monitors can we have?
I
Just
have
know.
I have an extender. Like I have a 2-screen extender if you want.
oh, that's awesome.
And you know, 'cause I'm in Houston, so I can just bring it with me if you want it.
I'll let you know. Oh, thank you. Well, I do like to have some stuff printed out because then I can be like looking down and you know. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm like you, Patty. So I'll probably be doing the same.
so
Does anyone have anything else?
I don't
I
know.
was kind of looking at our chat box on YouTube to see if anyone had any questions that we could address, but I don't see anything. So I think that that just about wraps it up. If anyone else has anything else.
I just want to say thank you, Amanda, for what you're doing. It you're just saving us so much time. I really, really appreciate it. So
Yeah.
My pleasure. And if y'all see something that looks different than you'd expect, you know, please feel welcome to share. It's a share. You know, it's not my file, it's our file. So I want to make sure we're all comfortable and in agreement on what it says.
if you know what, if the only thing I would say is if you could just let Rick know, because I know he has some other people who are going through that list, and I don't think they need to add everything that they're adding, you know, because they're actually suggesting language and, you know,
Okay.
so it sounds like you're doing a lot of the work. So if they need to skip education, I think we're okay. So.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Do you guys think we need to have another Zoom before Monday?
I'll leave it up to you guys. This is my first rodeo.
I'm okay.
Amanda?
I'm okay. The only thing I would have a question on, and I'm okay if we solve this on email. Do we know when we're convening as a full committee? Has Chair Davis announced that, or are we still waiting?
I think Wednesday.
That could, yeah, because that could help us backwards schedule.
I think the one
I'm looking at the schedule right now. Give me just a second.
I saw like 8 to 11 on Thursday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Though I kind of am under the impression that that might be when our room is reserved, though I don't know like when we're convening per se.
it says temporary platform committee meeting and platform committee breakout 8 to 11 again on Wednesday.
Okay.
Level 3 Grand Ballroom B.
Okay. Okay. So it'll be okay. Yeah.
So, but right now we just worry about Monday, and now rules committee and platform are both meeting at 11. So and it will be level 3 Grand Ballroom A for rules and B for the platform.
We're B. Okay.
Yeah.
What platform? Okay.
And then from there is where we're all gonna do our breakouts. And we'll see how that's gonna work out.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, I'll be ready to go. I'm coming in Sunday.
Okay.
So,
I will talk to Michelle offline, Michelle and Rick, about the editing position, and then I'll email you guys.
okay, cool.
Okay.
And then you have my, Amanda, you have my cell phone. It's on my, and I've
I'll
got
add it-
yours.
Yeah, I'll add it to my thing. I'll send you a text. That way you know my number.
Okay, awesome. So,
And I think what I'm gonna do also tonight is I'm gonna create a text message between the three of us, so that
Okay.
way we can communicate through text as well.
okay, that
I'll
sounds
send y'all
good.
something as soon as we hang up.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. All right.
All right.
I'm excited.
Bye.
Okay, bye guys.